Egypt's had pharaohs, sultans, generals, but never before has it had a civilian president. Mohamed Morsi garnering 51.7% in the second round, 1 million more votes than Hosni Mubarak's last prime minister, Ahmed Shafiq, an historic announcement for Egypt and for the Muslim Brotherhood after 9 decades in opposition. And even though the Islamist movement didn't start the revolution that toppled Hosni Mubarak, it does promise to finish it.
Continues until it achieves all of its goals. Together, we continue the journey.
Can Mohamed Morsi keep that promise? The 61-year-old engineer, who only became a candidate after the more charismatic Karat al-Shader was disqualified, now has to unite a nation divided over the election of an Islamist and reassure Egypt's allies, and all the while staking out his own turf. The generals say they'll stick to their promise and hand over power by June 30th. Well, not all the power. The past days and weeks have seen the military dissolve parliament and announce they'd be drawing up their own constitution, one where they will not answer to Mohamed Morsi. Today in the France 24 debate, we're asking who is in charge in Egypt, and with us to talk about it from Cairo, Nader of the Brotherhood's Freedom and Justice Party. Welcome back to the France 24 debate. Welcome here in the studio to Hanna, YOUSEF, member of the January 25th Activist Coalition. Thank you for being with us. Alexandria-born theologian Father Henri Boulad is one of the leaders of one of the vice presidents of Caritas Egypt, the ecumenical aid organization, Christian charity, I should say.
Yes.
Thank you for being with us. And thanks again for joining us, MIHAELY of Columnist for Israeli daily newspaper Yedioth Ahronoth. Thank you for being with us. The France 24 debate, where you can always join the conversation on Facebook, and on Twitter you can find us at FrancoisF24. Let's begin with the news from this Monday morning. Mohamed Morsi moving in, first thing, to the residence formerly occupied by Hosni Mubarak. Nader AMRAM, congratulations on the victory of your candidate. Let's talk logistics here. Some in the Brotherhood claim, we know that it's by June 30th that the swearing in. Some in the Brotherhood claim that Morsi will insist that he wants to be sworn in before the dissolved parliament. Will he really refuse to pledge the oath before the Mubarak-appointed constitutional court?
First of all, thank you for the congratulations for all the Egyptian people, not only for Muslim Brotherhood. And second, let me make one point very clear, that now Dr. Mohamed Morsi is the president of Egypt. And yesterday he is detached and disconnected completely from Freedom and Justice Party and also the group of Muslim Brotherhood. So since yesterday, maybe since this morning, all his news and all his contacts are being connected to the Egyptian presidency, not anymore with FGP. But what I can say, that he made a promise before that he's going to stick to the demands of the protesters in Tahrir Square since last week, which are 4 demands. First of all is the rejection of the dissolution of the parliament. Second is the rejection of the annex for the constitutional declaration. Third, the military should step down next June, by June 30th. And the fourth is the complete cancellation of the emergency law, which was rephrased again in another law, which is called the judiciary law.
And he is nonetheless the president-elect at this point. He hasn't been sworn in. Who will he pledge the oath to?
So there has been so many rumors that he's going to take the oath in Tahrir Square, and some say before the elected dissolved parliament so far, and some say he's going to make this before the Constitutional Court, the National Assembly, the General Assembly of the Constitutional Court. But so far we have no news about the real body he's going to take the oath before.
Okay, so we'll have to wait and see. What we have already seen, and let me get your reaction, Hanna, YOUSEF, on this, is we've seen consultations begin. People wondering whether or not he'll be able to name a prime minister on July 1st, right after the date. Some say already predicting it could take a while to name a PM. We've seen, for instance, on Sunday that the former boss of the International Atomic Agency, Mohamed al-Baradei, was called in by the military, that there seems to be consultations going on. Do you have any news from back home, your family in Giza, from your contacts within the January 25th movement as to what's actually going on in those negotiations at this point?
I think there are negotiations going on different levels, and there is a whole lot of news, a whole lot of rumors, mostly rumors, I would say. So we've heard that Morsi has been talking with al-Baradei, we've heard that the military has been talking with Baradei, and the many names. But in the end, we don't know what is rumors or not, so I don't know.
All right, well, here we report facts, not rumors. Nader AMRAM, what can you tell us about negotiations so far to form a government?
Actually, what I can confirm is that there are negotiations are underway now between for Dr. Morsi to take or to form a new cabinet, but there has been also news that Dr. Baradei will head the new cabinet, and also Dr. Baradei sometimes denied this news, and there has been news about Dr. Abul Futuh is taking the post of vice president, and he denied it at the beginning, and then they confirmed it. But I think they are all rumors. We cannot confirm anything so far, and I think it's so complicated. It will take time. It won't be today or tomorrow. It takes time to form more than 20 ministers in a coalition government. I think it's a very big and long issue which will take at least 1 or 2 weeks.
Just one final point on this, Nader AMRAM. The one name that's come up a lot in the last 24 hours is that of Hamdin Sabahi, who fared better than expected in the first round of that presidential election, coming in fourth, left-winger. What do you think his chances are of becoming the next prime minister?
He said before, right after the first round of elections, that he is not going to take any part in the if Dr. Morsi wins the presidency as a vice president or any other post. So that's what he said something like 2 weeks ago. So actually I have no idea if he's going to change his mind or is he going to stick to the same opinion.
Let me get your reaction on all of this, Henri Boulad. When you see the process as it's going on now, the announcement of this, first of all, the announcement that Mohamed Morsi has won. Were you surprised by this by this announcement? There had been rumors that perhaps that the generals would try to hang on to power.
I'm not surprised that Mohamed Morsi won the elections, because I think he deserves it. But I was against, of course, because an Islamist president is incompatible with a democratic country, democratic state, and a secular state. Despite what he said before, I just heard it a few moments ago when he says, our rule is a Sharia law, and Islam is the solution. If he starts that way, what can we expect of a new president supposed to be the president of all the Egyptians, which he said at the beginning?
But you heard Nader AMRAM at the outset say that he'd resigned his place inside the Muslim Brotherhood.
He resigned, but that does not mean anything. He will be dictated the answers and the solutions by Mohammed Badia, who is the supreme guide of the Muslim Brothers. I don't think that there is a compatibility between Islamism or Muslim Brotherhood and democracy and secularism. So I think it was the only solution, because we are fighting in Egypt since 84 years against the Muslim Brothers, and we have not been able to suppress them. There are very strong, very well organized, and then the only solution was to give them power to comply with the result of the elections. Now they have to prove themselves, to prove to people that they are able to cope with enormous challenges they are facing, mostly economy.
Hanna, YOUSEF, do you share the same concern? After all, there's already reference to Islam in the Constitution, and we've seen in other countries, such as Turkey, for instance, where Islamist parties are in power, and it doesn't impede on minorities' rights.
Yes, I want to comment that it is already in the constitution that the source of laws in Egypt are based on the principle of Sharia, which, by the way, if I support them or not, are justice and equality. That's one point. I think that the question is no longer really Islamist or secular. I think that is a polarization that belongs to an old mindset. I think the revolution now is talking about social justice, so we should be concentrating on that. When that is said, the Freedom and Justice Party is a market liberal political party, so the question is, can this policy succeed in getting social justice? It is a socio-economic revolution for social justice. So I think one should concentrate on that.
All right, you mentioned the markets. We're going to look at a few reactions and begin domestically with the Cairo Stock Exchange spiking a record 7.5% this Monday. Investors heartened by that long-awaited announcement of a winner in that runoff. Some of the reactions from abroad, lots of messages of congratulations. The White House coming out with a statement saying the President underscored that the United States will continue to support Egypt's transition to democracy and stand by the Egyptian people as they fulfill the promise of their revolution. Other reactions from abroad, by the way, MIHAELY, President of Israel, putting out a statement almost to the same effect of that. This, though, the reaction in the Gaza Strip, where you see celebrations. Gaza, whose rulers Hamas are an offshoot of the Muslim Brotherhood. And over the border in Israel, your newspaper, MIHAELY, headlining Dark Clouds in Egypt. Now, I know you don't write the headlines at Yedioth Ahronoth, but is that the right headline to put out?
Well, actually, whether or not it's a good headline, I don't know, but there's nothing new. Israel's main problem or main concern is to have a government, to have a solid regime on its borders. The worst problems Israel has are with non-states. Israel had more peace with Syria, with whom it is in war, than with Lebanon. So the first concern of Israel is to have a partner with a legitimate power, with a functioning government. And then everything else is secondary, because with rational, well-run governments, you can always find a solution. So the main concern in Israel is whether or not Egypt will come out of the revolution a functioning democracy or a chaotic state. And the problem is that if we look at Sinai, it doesn't look well. Ever since February 2011, successive Egyptian governments cannot get back the control over Sinai, which became actually a kind of an independent state. A
feeling of lawlessness over the border.
The problem today between Israel and Egypt is not that the Egyptians would like to change radically the situation, but that a third party, a third actor, will oblige both sides to do things they don't want to do. Rockets were fired from Sinai to Eilat. For the moment, they don't hit. But once rockets will be fired from Sinai every week and they will start hitting Eilat, Israel will have to do things that it doesn't want to do, and the Egyptians will have to retaliate in a way that they don't want to retaliate. And this is why maybe the clouds are dark.
All right, Nader, AMRAM, let's maybe get an idea of some of this, because on the one hand, there are these apprehensions, and a lot of them seem to stem from the fact that we still don't quite know, we mentioned it at the outset, who's going to really be running the show as things go down. Let me give you a concrete question here. For instance,
Okay.
will the Interior Minister be answering to Mohamed Morsi, or will he be answering to the generals?
Okay, so Christopher, let me make another thing to know for you now that actually I had no idea before coming to this program that I'm going to have to discuss this with your guests from Israel as well, because I have some problems in talking with the journalists from Israel, and they are just accusing Sharia law and these things, and they are the country who really break the law all over the world. So, and they are the last people to talk about breaking law or democracy, while they're suppressing an unarmed people of Gaza and the West Bank. And also they are right about the dark clouds. The dark clouds come over Israel because they lost their treasure, their strategic treasure, which is Mubarak's regime. And now they are having a real democracy in Egypt, which is the real danger for Israel to have a democracy. So they want something like Mubarak's regime to deal with. So they are the last people in the world to respect the resolutions or respect treaties. So let's not be that scientific when they are talking. They have to take care of their country first, to be democratic and to be respecting the international law. And then afterwards, they can try to analyze the situation in Egypt or talking about Islamists or such a thing. And about the affiliation of the Interior Ministry to what, of course, this is something will be stated in the law and also in the new regulations which are going to come in the Constitution next month, I think, or in 2 months. So far, I have no idea if it's going to be annexed to that. And please, I'm not going to answer any question or any raised question between these two journalists.
Why not?
I don't want to.
But your countries are at peace, aren't they not?
I said I don't want to, not my country doesn't want to. I don't want to.
Okay, and why don't you want to?
First of all, I was not told that I'm going to have guests from Israel. You should have told me at the beginning, in the first place, right?
Our aim is not to entrap you. It's just that I just wanted to clearly know why you didn't want to speak to a guest from Israel.
Yeah, the first reason is that you did not tell me that there are journalists from Israel are going to be in the same show.
Okay.
You have to answer the question, not me.
Okay. Well, when we come back, we'll look at some of the tough decisions that lie ahead. Stay with us. You're watching the France 24 debate.